wake up.
Good evening and welcome to Baturdays in the BatCave. This is No Topic Saturday. Tangent. Gosh, I wish it was Tangent Tuesday. It's No Topic Thursday. But it's Saturday, which doesn't really alliterate with anything. And I just woke up from a nap and I'm so foggy. I have no idea where I am. I have my co-host is the Minister of Comics for Baturdays in the BatCave, Taylor Brown. Taylor, how's it going?
I'm doing great. And I was just telling Jess that this background is giving me PTSD from high school with geometry class. So my mind's transported back to 10th grade right now and all the struggles I had with geometry.
I don't know that I was ever even given the option of getting a tutor. That and chemistry were the two classes I got C's in high school. And I don't know if I'm sure there were tutors back then, but I was never presented with the opportunity to take one or have one. I could, it just never came to me in chemistry and geometry.
My parents made me take a SAT class prep course after my first SAT score because it wasn't up to their standards of what they would have liked for me. And I got a worse score on the second one. So it didn't do anything for me.
I think I didn't take a course, but I took it again and I got a worse score the second time. And so I was stuck with the score I was stuck with.
I did excellent on the English portion, and back when I did it, it was out of 2,400. There was a writing section, like an essay section. I did great on those two. I did horrible on the math section. I was 10 points away from having to do a non-credit algebra class in college. Can you imagine taking a non-credit math class in college? All that work for nothing.
Non-credit?
Yeah, because it was like if you get below this certain threshold, you have to redo it, but you don't get any credits because you should have known this in high school, basically. But I was 10 points away from that, so I just scraped by the skin of my teeth.
That sounds horrible.
And you know how often I use any of that stuff? Never. Never. Yeah, maybe tonight. I see Michael Eamon said he was a mathlete in high school, so maybe he can solve the tangent for us.
I'm quite sure he's lying. Michael Eamon is never serious.
He's just trying to he's gonna try to angle your Captain Britain omnibus out of you. If he can solve the equation, can he get the Captain Britain omnibus?
I don't think we had the ACT when I took it. I took it let's see, 1976 or 77. I graduated in May of 77, so I must have taken it in 76. Early 76, because I already knew what school I was going to by the end of 76, and then I graduated in 77.
I think ACT is kind of by certain regions. I think it's more popular in certain parts of the country than others. ACT isn't very popular where I'm from. You can take it. Some colleges want you to have it, but not all colleges really don't really care about it.
I don't think it was. This is how old I am. I don't think it was invented back then. Well, I definitely know there wasn't a writing portion on the SAT. There's no writing.
It was like 30-some years before I took the SAT, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I took it in 76, and I took it twice, and I did worse on the second part, the second chance. But they let you submit, or they just looked at the better of the two scores, and I had a decent enough score. But yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I had a problem with and I've always had a problem with it, is the spatial challenge, where they'll show you the box shapes and you're supposed to figure out some kind of decision from it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that, but I was bad at all of it. So I was bad at all the math problems.
Height, length, width, depth, thickness,
Thickness. I don't remember that being a question.
No, I know they would show you a cutout of something, and you were supposed to put it together in your head what shape it was going to be. I was terrible at that.
I don't remember that one. I must have blocked that out.
Yeah, I think that I broke the machine on it.
Well, back in '76, did you have to write out something in cursive at the beginning of the test, like saying "I won't cheat" or anything like that, on the very front of the test? You they gave you something to copy in cursive. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
And it was funny because
cheat?
a lot of people around me were freaking out because they didn't remember how to write cursive because they hadn't written it in so many years. And I was like one of the only people who remembered it. Everyone around me was like, I don't remember how to write cursive. They were just like freaking out. I'm like, it was a terrible way to start the test.
They asked you to write cursive?
Yeah, you had to write this like honor statement in cursive, basically.
Gee, I don't remember that. I believe there was some honor code thing at the beginning, but I don't remember that they forced you to write in cursive. The decline in cursive handwriting was going on at least during my time too, because I was so bad at cursive handwriting. I always printed I still always print everything. And they used to teach you cursive in schools. I remember
cursive. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I remember I took cursive writing.
And Michael Eamon's talking about that spatial problem you were mentioning earlier. He says you had to determine which 2D shape would fold back to the 3D shape they were showing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Michael decided to be serious for 2 seconds.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. And Mr. Awesome, that's a great comment.
That is. Is that good or bad? Because I know some people don't like crunch berries.
I don't love crunch berries, but I get what he's trying to say. I don't love it, but I get what he's trying to say, though.
Yeah, it's none of the original crunch cereal. It's all the extra fluff that went into it.
Here's another way to put it. It's like Lucky Charms with all the marshmallows.
With just marshmallows?
With just marshmallows.
Yeah. I actually, a few years ago, I actually bought a bag of just marshmallows from Amazon.
Oh, really? They do that?
Yeah, they're supposed to be Lucky Charm marshmallows, which are great, but these were not quality Lucky Charm marshmallows. These were decidedly average marshmallows, shapes, moons, and stars.
Were they knockoffs, like a grocery store chain knockoff?
Exactly.
Here's a great tangent, Jess, that we're getting. Let's get away from the math stuff. That's bringing up painful memories for us. Let's talk about foods from the grocery store you will always buy on brand and never off brand.
Oreos.
That is number one. I totally agree with you.
Okay.
Also, cereal. Cereal, no knockoffs for me.
Right.
Buy the actual things. Buy Captain Crunch. Buy Lucky Charms. Buy Frosted Flakes. Also, Pop. I do not want to drink Faygo. I don't want to drink all those knockoffs that they have.
Oh, now that's interesting that you said Pop. I've always, we're going off on a different tangent. I've always associated Pop more with people from Wisconsin and the upper Midwest, but you're not from there, and you said Pop. So that's interesting because that's a very regional thing in the U.S. How you say soda in the U.S.
It's very popular in Western PA. No one says soda unless you're not from here. Everyone says Pop in Western Pennsylvania.
Pop. Okay, I thought it was definitely just Wisconsin and like Michigan.
And whenever I was doing my my master's degree in Louisville, Kentucky, everyone said Coke. And then you'd say, what do you want to drink? Coke. What kind? Sprite. Everyone called Pop Coke.
I grew up saying Coke.
So I think those are the top three for me for things I have to buy on brand. Oreos, Pop, and cereal.
Pop and cereal. And we've made some people's head explode.
Wow, everyone's really going crazy.
Especially about soda.
Hayden McGee's always complimenting our attractiveness, so I appreciate that.
I will take it whenever I can get it. Thank you, Hayden. I appreciate that. Let's see. I grew up in California calling it Coke. And everybody else said Coke too. Now that I think about it. But let's see. I'm trying to think what they think of here in the Mid-Atlantic. I think they just refer to it. I'm trying to think of how my wife would refer to it.
Can I address Jessica while you're thinking of it? She's jamming me up for how I said Louisville. Here's the thing. When I was down there, I always said Louisville because people would jam you up if you said Louisville. But if you're in Pittsburgh and say Louisville, everyone makes fun of you. So I'll say it in different ways depending on where I'm at. So while I'm up here in Pittsburgh, I'll say Louisville.
Well, right now you're on the air. So
it's bound. Yes, it's why I'm boundaryless. So I can say whatever I want. I can go back and forth.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if this analogy is right. Saying Coke is like people calling tissues Kleenex and paper copies Xeroxes, because those things are those things. But Coke could be Sprite or root beer or something else. I definitely say Xerox. I need to Xerox this.
I definitely say Kleenexes too.
And I'll always say Kleenexes, and I have to Xerox something.
How about this debate? Pepsi or Coke? I think that's probably one that we'll both agree on, I would think.
For the longest time, most of my life, I was a Pepsi fan. As a matter of fact, I invested in Pepsi stock when my best friend worked there back in 1990. He worked there for a number of years. And it actually made everything in this room possible. It did so well.
Oh, really? Was that with Pepsi Clear or Pepsi? What was it? Pepsi Crystal or something? What was it called?
Crystal Pepsi.
Hopefully you invested after that.
I actually, it was before that. Because one of the requirements for one of my crew on Throwback Thursday was Crystal Pepsi and pizza, a particular pizza. This is how hard it was to get good crew for me on my local cable show, because they had the upper hand. They could just say what they wanted because they weren't getting paid, and they could. He was a nice guy, but he said, "Yeah, I'd like, but could we have Crystal Pepsi and Mr. Pibb pizza or whatever it was?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine, whatever you want." And so I'd have to go find Crystal Pepsi and whatever the local pizzeria was.
He's the only person to ever ask for Crystal Pepsi.
I think I bought it in like my friend worked there from the early 80s till the mid 90s. So I bought it, and it went up like 1,500%, and it financed my comic buying, all my comic buying, and mortgage paying off, and everything else.
Yeah, I would say growing up, I agree that I was more of a Pepsi guy.
Yeah.
And then when I moved down to Louisville, Louisville, whatever you want to say, that's how some people say it down there. They didn't have any Pepsi down there, like none. Maybe in the gas station, but it was only at the gas station or at the grocery store. You couldn't go out to a restaurant and get Pepsi, so all I had was Coke. And so I developed a taste for Coke. So I would say I like Coke better than Pepsi, but I think Wild Cherry Pepsi is my favorite pop of all.
Oh, Wild Cherry Pepsi is good.
It's Wild Cherry Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, and then Coke. And then Pepsi.
I drink Diet Coke, and I know it's terrible for me, but I've actually developed a taste for it, which is awful.
I hate that taste. I mean, I guess if you keep drinking it, you'll develop a taste for it.
You do, yeah.
I guess like if I get to the point where I stop drinking pop, I'm just going cold turkey because I can't get into diet. I don't know what it is. And I know it's bad for you in a different way than regular pop is.
Yeah. Regular pop. If it's Mexican Coke sugar, I can drink it. Mexican Coke with real sugar, with real cane sugar, I can drink it. But if it's American Coke, it hurts my teeth to drink the whatever
the processed sugar,
the fructose or the glucose or one of those oses that they use. Not glucose. That has to do with like diabetes or something.
diabetes.
I forget what sucrose. I don't know. But it hurts my teeth if it's not Mexican Coke.
And I agree with Farhan. Vanilla Coke is awful. I remember tasting vanilla Coke when it first came out, and it made me want to throw up. I did not enjoy that. I remember
George Costanza. What's that a reference to?
Oh, remember they're going to the dinner party, and they have to go get a bottle of wine, and they have to go get like a dessert. And George is like, let's just go get Pepsi. George, we can't just stick down a 2-liter of Pepsi on the table. He's like, you can't tell me that wine's better than Pepsi. No way is wine better than Pepsi. Right. He wanted to bring ring dings and Pepsi to the party. He's like, all these stupid rules that we have are so ridiculous. I'm sure someone would speak up to me and say, hey, I know I can't say this out loud, but I'm really thankful for the ring dings and the Pepsi.
That's a classic.
That's the Gore-Tex coat whenever they see Saddam Hussein and he has a British accent.
That's right.
You better get a coat, you'll catch a cold. I've seen that show too many times. Or not enough times. I don't know.
I don't think I've seen that one enough times because there was a dip in there for a couple months where I didn't get to see it, and that may be one of those episodes I never really saw and never caught in reruns.
I've seen like seasons 4 through 9 an infinite number of times. I rarely go back to seasons 1 and 2. Season 3 does have some good episodes, but 4 is when it really takes off, I think, and becomes Seinfeld. It becomes a show that we all know and love.
Right. The only one that I don't really like is the very, very first one where she's engaged to some other guy and sending Jerry mixed signals. That was really clunky. I know that's the pilot, but I never really like rewatching that. It's awkwardly weird.
The Seinfeld Chronicles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really started to find its footing in the 3rd season with the Bookman episode where Jerry has the Tropic of Cancer overdue at the library since the 70s. And Bookman is the library detective. They have to chase him down. And then they have that gym coach who's a homeless man. He calls George Can't Stand You. I think that's when it started becoming more like Seinfeld.
Can't Stand You. That's right. Yeah.
And we were just talking about this the other day, weren't we? Talking about our favorite Seinfeld episodes.
We actually talk about Seinfeld a lot. We drop references all the time.
Well, you asked me the question, what do you think? Well, you asked me 2 questions. You said, what's the most famous episodes?
Right.
And what's your personal favorite?
Right.
And we both agreed that The Contest is by far the most famous Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
But my personal favorite is the ATM code, where George has to be with Peterman's mother when she dies, and he tells her his ATM code, which is Bosco, and she starts screaming it out, and then she dies. I love the confluence of the other storylines coming together with Kramer on the fire truck, with Jerry having to stomp his foot because he's falling asleep and leaping. Larry thinks he's making fun of him, and he catches the store on fire, and the whole block's on fire, and he has to give Peterman his ATM code to get that guy out of the vestibule. That was just one of the best like confluences of all the episodes coming together.
Yeah. Now I think one of the ones like that was when they were making the show for NBC, and Jerry's dad finds his wallet finally on the couch because earlier in the season he was the doctor and he kept yelling his wallet was missing.
My wallet's gone. My wallet's gone.
And I think the debut of the pilot of the show about nothing is an episode like that because he finds his wallet and other things happen in it.
Well, then there's a whole thing with Uncle Leo where Jerry then Jerry he finds the Rolex in the trash that Jerry throws away, and then Jerry gives his dad a new wallet and he goes, oh, it's Velcro, and he throws it in the garbage, and there's a bunch of cash in there, and then Uncle Leo finds that and pockets it. But you're right. That was a really good ending.
Yeah, he didn't say anything. He just looks in it and walks on.
Right.
Yeah, that Uncle Leo, that is a crack up.
Yes, that's definitely my favorite episode. I forget what you said your favorite episode was.
My all-time favorite?
You sent me a bunch of them. I can't remember if you picked just one though.
I think we said top 5. And I sent you 5, but and here the collector Derek Tyler makes a good point. The Soup Nazi episode may be more famous, the most famous of all, but I think that the contest seems to be like what Seinfeld is known for, at that and Festivus and the Soup Nazi.
Yeah, I think, the contest won them the Emmy, and that's kind of what shot them into superstardom.
Yeah.
And I love that. Season 4 is fantastic with the Bubble Boy. That was a great episode. There's just so many different good ones.
It says Moops.
It's the Lord. It's a misprint. Oh, no. It says the Moops.
Oh, no.
And I just love how they brought some random guy off set to be the Bubble Boy. It's obviously like a 57-year-old man and not a little boy. And they're just choking him and the bubble pops. That's such a great episode.
He got the Bubble Boy. Got him.
He lives in a bubble. Boy.
Oh yeah, the Chinese restaurant. We could turn this into a whole Seinfeld show.
I could do a whole show on Seinfeld like I could for Batman the Animated Series, which we'll eventually do once you finish. I could go on for hours about that.
Farhan said, "What am I drinking now? I am drinking, and I'm going to go get a refill in a minute of cranberry juice and soda."
Here's a good question. Who's like your favorite like side character on Seinfeld? Like they're not one of the main 4, but it's a character that pops up periodically.
Well, I have to say that I'm one of the few people that really sort of he set my teeth on edge. He was George's dad, even though the bra episode was a classic.
You didn't like Jerry Stiller?
Sometimes he bothered me. I don't.
Serenity now. Hoochie mama.
He made me too anxious. You know, I could just imagine turning out like George if he was really my father.
He was hilarious. I love him.
Cool in his tennis shoes.
He's definitely my favorite. I think a close second would be Jay Peterman. He's hilarious. Elaine's boss at the magazine.
Is he now the announcer at the for the National Dog Show? That guy?
I think you might be right. I definitely have seen him somewhere on TV recently.
Yeah, he's a tall guy with silver hair.
Oh, Newman, that's a really good one.
I think that's Newman. Yeah, I think that's my my favorite extra character. But that was my favorite episode, I think, where Kramer goes out and blacks out the lines on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Makes a 3-lane road a 2-lane road. And Kramer has all the soda bottles, soda, that he's taking back taking to a state for recycling.
That's a different episode. There's 2 different episodes. Is? Yeah.
Oh.
That's the one where he adopts the highway. And he wants it to be like a really big, like smooth, like driving experience. So he blacks out the highway, but it's causing traffic problems. So he's using paint thinner on the road. But then Elaine's driving, and she's trying to get rid of this garbage, and a big typewriter falls out, or not typewriter, a big something falls out, and then Newman runs over it, and he catches on fire. And he's like, "Oh, the humanity!"
You know what that's from, right?
Oh, what's that from?
The Hindenburg.
Right, yeah, the Hindenburg. You're thinking of the soda bottle ones, the one where Everybody Loves Raymond, his brother steals Jerry's car. He's his mechanic because he thinks Jerry's take good care enough of his car. And so Kramer has to chase him, and he kicks Newman out because he weighs too much. And then Newman hooks up with that farm girl. Goodbye, Norman. Goodbye. Oh, he has a sewing machine. Psycho Cleveland. It was a sewing machine that Elaine dropped out, and it caught his truck on fire.
Yeah, and this is good too. Terry Hatcher, they're real and they're spectacular. We were actually okay. So we talked about Soda Pop, and then we talked about oh, and I also said that I love the Double Dip episode. I just gave you my top 5, like Festivus, Newman catching on fire, painting the road, and the contest, and like that. I don't. I feel like Festivus is really iconic. Is it? But I also think it's got so many iconic moments, like especially his Kramer dropping his bubble gum into the.
That's the human fun too. Money for people.
Right.
And he's like, "You better have a good explanation for why you gave me a fake Christmas gift." And he talks about how his family has boycotted Christmas because of Festivus. And Oxmeat Pete brings up one of my favorite moments when George eats the eclair out of the trash, and he's like, it was above the rim. Adjacent to refuse is refuse. You are now a bum. I love that episode. There's so many good ones. It's hard to even go through all of them. One of my favorite lines in all of Seinfeld is one that I think about a lot. Is whenever George is, actually, it's my favorite episode. It's the ATM code, where he gets mad because Susan wants his code, and he goes, "Why can't there be some things just for me? Is that really so selfish?" And Jerry says, "Actually, that's the definition of selfish." The writing on that show is it was so sharp, and you don't see it on a lot of TV shows. Even like a lot of the classic sitcoms that we all know and love, Seinfeld stands above them because it's so finely written.
Yeah,
I think there's so many shows that can kind of pave over bad writing with good acting and humorous acting, but they had both in spades. They had hilarious actors and hilarious material.
And I will say that the one thing that Jerry Seinfeld actually never got right, because he wasn't a trained actor like the other three, was he was constantly on the verge of laughing during the whole thing, all 9 years or whatever it was. You could see it in his face, and when he talked, he was always ready to laugh.
It was part of the charm, though. It kind of like made you, because he was kind of the straight man in some ways, but he was also the one who kind of brought the jokes home at some point.
Yeah.
Like whenever George runs out of the bathroom with his pants around his legs, and he says, and then Jerry comes in and says, "And you want to be my latex salesman?" You can just tell he's having so much fun doing the show. And I think over the years, I've appreciated him more and more because he has some of the funniest lines, even though he wasn't the best actor.
Right. What was the... this is the tangent, so we're going to have to go on with it. But I can't remember what led Elaine to say to it, but she goes, "Every time I think you can't get any shallower, you always manage to drain just a little bit more out of the pool."
Yeah.
But I can't remember what he did to deserve that, because he did something awful, I think, with a woman.
I can't remember. Oh, another great one, the Calzone episode. That's a great one.
That's when I was that is what set off our whole conversation the other day, because I always wait until someone's looking when I put the tip in the jar. And it's when he's getting the calzones for Steinbrenner, they didn't see him, so he didn't get credit for George, that he didn't get credit for putting his money in the tip jar, so he goes in to pull it out again so he can put it in again when they're watching, and they catch him taking it out of the tip jar, and he's banned for life.
And then Kramer comes in with all the pennies, and he puts it on the table. And then that penny part comes back later when he pays that one guy that Elaine is dating in pennies. He throws the bag of pennies at him, and he falls over, and that's the end of the episode. I just love the endings to those episodes. I mean, it didn't really happen much in the beginning. Again, that started happening in the 4th season when all the storylines came together. Because in so many sitcoms, the storylines are just so random. They're all over the place. They had nothing to do with each other. I loved how they all just kind of came together in the perfect way. Like the best, besides the ATM code, the best ending is probably the marine biologist when he pulls the titleist out of his of his jacket. Goes, that a Titleist? Hole in one. That was a great ending.
Actually, we're losing some of our overseas audience.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. So we should probably, and I don't blame you guys. I understand Hayden and Farhan. It's like it's like you guys doing a whole episode on Benny Hill or something, and which I don't remember watching, but I know was popular in Britain. So
I'll do my last Seinfeld thing. Someone just mentioned the marble rye.
Yeah.
He's stealing my marble rye. Shut up, you old bag. Love that one.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, throw out some topics we can talk about. Well, actually, this isn't the topic show; it's a tangent show. So
the tangent show. So we've already done a good job of finding our own tangents, which I wasn't concerned about. But that doesn't mean it can't be a question and answer thing too. If you guys have questions about comics or a particular comic, you can always throw that in and we can go off on a tangent on that. But we always have so many tangents on everything that we just thought we'd have a topic-free episode where it was just whatever we come to is what we talk about.
Cycle brings up one of the best moments. Sorry. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I actually know that reference, Jess, what that's from.
Oh, you do?
The Greatest American Hero.
Yeah.
Actually, Tyler Blunt's calling me right now. Should I answer it?
Yeah. Put him on the air.
What's up, man?
Not much use. How much you calling earlier?
Oh, well, you're on air right now.
Oh. What?
Yeah, what do you want to say to everybody?
Is this the Tangent Show?
It is the Tangent Show. We just got off talking about Pop and Seinfeld.
Wow, I'm so glad I didn't open with my story about Jess Bragg that he specifically said you can never tell anybody this. I would be so ashamed if anyone ever knows. I mean, I was so close to talking about that night in Maui. Oh, it's a good thing I didn't say that. So I guess what I would want to know is, I want to hear some action figure talk. I want to know what action figures are you most looking forward to this year, Taylor?
Okay. All right. Well, how about you jump on YouTube and watch my answer? Okay.
Okay. Perfect. One more viewer coming up.
Well, before we get to that, someone actually had a good question earlier. Professor Fleck at 739. I'll give Tyler a chance to jump in the chat.
What was
that? How do we know each other? That's a good tangent.
Oh.
For those of you who haven't been watching us since I've been on the show. So pretty much in like June or May of 2019, I just reached out to Jess with the idea of doing like a Batman show, like once or twice a month. And we talked a couple times, never like over Zoom or over FaceTime or anything, but just like random things back and forth.
But before that, you were very much of an Omnibros live viewer.
And I was part of the group too.
Part of the Omnibus Collector group, yeah. But you specifically sent, because I still have it in my notes app, ideas for shows. And we referred to those ideas because you gave a lot of them, because we asked for ideas for shows back in 2017 or something. And you sent a ton of ideas. And ever since then, I've always referred to you as the idea man of the outfit. And I think where we've got each other as viewer at Omnibros with the ideas. He's the idea guy. Yeah, that guy.
And then I reached out to you and I gave you like at least like 15 ideas of how we could do a Batman show. And going in with that, so we did pretty much all of them. And then over the months, it was like, we can't just do Batman. We have to do more, because otherwise we're going to run out of stuff pretty quick. And so it kind of became what it is today, which we're talking about tangents. We have a geometry background right now. But yeah, I think, the past year and a half, we've become good friends. So that's been really cool. I wasn't expecting that when we started doing the show.
And I think when you texted me when I was in the hospital with pancreatitis is when we became really good friends. Nobody else did that for me, so I felt really particularly close to you then, because out of the blue, you just texted me a lot saying, "How are you doing?"
And then you were texting me while I was in the hospital with Sam too, whenever he was born, while you were at Baltimore. And then you got me those Pete Tomasi books, which was a big thing for me too. So I think those things kind of led.
Oh yeah.
And then recently, in the past couple of months, me, you, and Tyler have started hanging out a lot. Doing private chats and having our group text messaging chain. So that's been really cool lately too.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I think in the beginning, central to our friendship was love of comics, and now it's, I mean, as you can see that our love of Seinfeld. I mean, Taylor's always dropping references into shows and stuff, and Tyler and I started. I think the last episode that I talked, Action Figure Thursday, we talked about the first time Tyler ever got a hold of me. I feel like he had my phone number and texted me right as I got out of my therapist's office on the morning when they announced the 2017 or 2016 box set of Hasbro action figures, legend figures for the San Diego Comic-Con. And that moment when he either called me or texted, I think he texted me, and he said, "Don't know if you're into this, but if you are, now is the time to act." And that is what actually lit the fire for me to start collecting action figures like I do, was Tyler reaching out to me to say, "Here's how you get the San Diego Comic-Con themed action figure set," which I think was the Doctor Strange set, the Book of Ashanti. And ever since then, I've loved action figures, and Tyler and I have become better friends too.
Well, I guess going in step with this question, what's a figure you're really excited for this year?
Is that from you?
That's what Tyler asked us whenever he called.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he said, "What figure are you looking forward to?" And I was waiting for him to jump into the chat. It looks like he's in the chat as Super Squad D.
Oh,
I think the figure I'm most looking forward to is obviously, well, you've probably heard me talk about it before, is the Batman Beyond McFarlane, but not the Target exclusive coming out in April. I'm talking about the one coming out later this year with the flight stand, and it has like the jetpack flames coming out of its, jet boots, flames coming out of the boots, and it actually has a mouth and a nose. That's what really turned me off to that Target exclusive, that this black nothing that was right here. I just couldn't get into that.
I think if you look closer to that Target, it does have a couple of cutout features for the mask. But I agree. Rick Nelson, here's somebody else that has my phone number. He's the one that texted me that Target was taking pre-orders and gave me a link, and that's what I sent on to you guys. And that's when I think the three of us and Rick all came to the same conclusions. Like, even Rick and I had already placed our orders for it, and then Rick found a better one that's coming out. I had a feeling there was a second one that was coming out that looks a lot better in the face, particularly. It's got some suggestion of features in the mask.
Yeah,
he doesn't have fire effects, or
he has the batarangs that you like.
The first one does.
Oh yeah, sorry. The Target one. You wish that the one we like had the batarangs too.
Yeah, right? I do. Those batarangs from the first one were really cool. But the second one has some rocket effects or something.
Yeah, it has a flight stand too, I believe. Yeah. Which I'm really gonna like putting that behind my other Batman figures and having it be like high above them in the air. That'll be really cool.
Just lording it above them.
Yes.
Batman Beyond.
I just like that the second one that we're waiting for is more show accurate. it looks more like Terry McGinnis in the actual show, which you'll discover whenever you get to Batman Beyond, hopefully in the near future.
I am going through those Batman animated series episodes now that it's on HBO Max. I am burning through those, and I've also discovered Brave and the Brave and the Bold, the DC Animated Universe show. I've only seen the first episode, but I am immediately hooked on that show, and it's so easy to see them on my iPad, opposed to the incredible effort of getting up out of your chair and putting the disc in the machine. I can just get it right on my laptop. So I have been, let's see what episode I'm on for Batman, the animated series.
Didn't you just watch the 2-parter Heart of Steel?
I did. Yeah, that's what I
Hardak?
finished. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm starting episode 40. It depends on how much sleep I get tonight, because I've been up for like 36 straight hours with our dog having to, she had to have a splenectomy because they discovered a tumor on her spleen. And I don't know if you, Taylor, or the audience has ever dealt with a dog after major surgery, but they are always way out of it. They don't have that part of the brain that we do where we're like, okay, just lie down and we'll recover. They stand there in weird places in the house where they never go and just stand there for hours. And they just rock back and forth. And she had to have the splenectomy. So I think it hurt her to kind of go to the bathroom to go out.
Does she have a cone on?
No, we found something that we like even better called a Sudical. The vet put it on her. It's a thin layer of protective, a thin layer of material like Kevlar or something like the Punisher wears, that goes all over her and has flaps for around her tail, so she can't get at it, and it's much easier to deal with than without the lampshade.
And you should probably say that she's fine. I think some people are concerned in the chat. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was telling you what it was like for me last night, but she's fine now. She's eating food. She's gone to the bathroom a couple times, and is normal again. Her behavior is completely normal. But last night, it hurt her to go outside and go to the bathroom, and she couldn't go down the steps of our deck in the back, so I would have to take her out through the garage, and she would just look around the grass and come straight back in, which is highly unusual. And I would just say, okay, whenever you're ready. But I was saying that up until like 2:30 in the morning. At about 3:30, she finally went. But she was, still with the odd behavior, and I just couldn't fall asleep. I slept downstairs on the first floor in the fold-out couch, where I think many of you think I end up spending so much time anyway because of the stuff I buy, and just checking in on her because by that time, by like 4 o'clock, she had finally fallen asleep, because she couldn't lie down like dogs do on their stomachs, because that's where she had the surgery. She's okay now. We don't know about the tumor. It was a blood-filled tumor on her spleen. They sent out the biopsy of the tumor to be looked at the lab. I highly just don't think it's cancer or anything. I think she's fine. I'm not trying to dismiss it. I'm just thinking positively about it. And I think she's acting fine now. Apparently dogs don't need their spleens that much.
I found a picture whenever Murdoch was fixed back when he was like 1 year old, and we didn't have a comb. We got a little pillow, like a little pillow to wrap around his head.
Oh yeah,
his neck. Here's what he looked like.
Oh yeah, we got that for Holly just in case, like a donut, right?
And he loved it. Whenever we took it off him, he still wanted to lay with it for a while. I think it was comfortable. It's kind of like a neck pillow almost.
Yeah,
it was really funny. He was really out of it back then. I don't want to compare that to your dog's spleen surgery, but he was super out of it for a couple of days.
I think our first dog Archie was like that when he came back from getting put in neutral. He stood around.
Put in neutral?
Yeah.
I never heard that terminology. I'll have to use that from now on.
He stood. That's where my first experience. And he stood around in an odd spot and just stared and stayed there. I'm like, wow. I wish I had some of what you were on right now.
Well, Jess, going back to what you said earlier, you said everyone's going to think I'm staying on the couch because of all the orders I get in. Why don't you tell people about the order you got in yesterday and what you had, or was it today? No, it was yesterday. And then you had a conversation with Tyler, because that was a really funny story. I don't know if Tyler's still here, but that was a really funny story.
I'm sorry, I'm way behind. I'm way behind on everybody's questions because we're actually doing some humor interaction. Here's a good question. I thought the Scurry box set 1 through 3 comes in a box set. Scurry does come in a box set, or you can get it in individual editions. And now is the only time you've been able to get the box set, whereas I've kickstarted all 3 books. So that's why I didn't get the box set, because I kickstarted the hardcover slipcase ones. But if you go to scurrycomic.com, I believe there's still the box set option. And I just did a video on the book this morning because I wanted to draw people's attention to it, how important a book it is, I think. And you do have the box set option, and box sets are really cool, but I've always kickstarted it. So that's why I have the individual, editions.
And you can only buy it on their website, right? The author's website?
I think so, because sometimes people who do Kickstarters, I think they eventually always close the Kickstarter down, and you have to track it down where you're going to find it. I've never known a Kickstarter. I personally have never known a Kickstarter to stay open to continue to sell merchandise. You always have to go someplace else where they've kept extra copies. So Mac Smith's site is scurrycomic.com. And really, I think that's all he sells there. That's all he's ever done is Scurry. And the paperbacks are out, except for number 3, but all are out of stock. But the hardcovers are all still in print.
Michael Eamon with a shockingly human moment at 7:53. Jess, we got to highlight a serious comment.
I'm way behind. What? Shockingly? Oh, wow! Thank you. I'm almost speechless, and I'm not kidding. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I've been texting Tyler while you were talking about Scurry. He wants to tell the story about you getting that box in because you're on the phone with him. So I sent him the link, so he might jump on in a couple minutes. So just be on the lookout for him.
I have a picture that I can pull up to show the box that I got, the size of the box yesterday. And actually, I have to start talking a little lower because
we all have to be careful with what we say, because who knows, our wives might hear us, or they might, for some reason, watch our show. Sometimes my wife will jump on the show to see what we're talking about, or to see how much longer she think we'll be on.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful, man. Kate, if you're watching, I didn't mean that. I never say anything bad. I love you, and stop watching. Professor Flex is a really good question. I want to hear your answer to, Jess, at 7:56. I know that you're kind of way behind, but this is a good question.
7:56.
Jess, how did you feel about the Christmas? Yeah.
Let me get T-Bone in here. What's up, T-Bone?
What's up, guys? It's your guy T-Bone back with another Super Squad D video.
Himself.
Today we're talking about the funniest thing I've ever heard Jess Bragg do while on the phone.
Okay, wait. Before that, let me address this. Jess, how did you feel about the Christopher Reeve Superman when you first saw it? I guess I was a teenager. I really enjoyed Christopher Reeve as Superman. I loved the idea that he could fly. I loved Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. I hated Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor back then. They played him as a goofball, madman with hair. They didn't take him seriously at all.
He had a wig on the entire time.
Gene Hackman?
Yeah, he had a wig on the entire time, didn't he? Didn't they pull it off him at the end?
Yeah, but to me, he should have been bald from the beginning. I just never liked Luthor's Gene Hackman's Luthor, and it always kept me from really enjoying Superman for everything that it was. I liked the first two Superman movies. 3 made me feel uneasy, and 4 I never even went to see.
The Quest for Peace.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be just awful.
And I love how Gary Frank so lovingly draws Christopher Reeves into his Jeff Johns Superman stories.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think Christopher Reeves is the best part of those movies.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just watched the first movie for the first time in my entire life, like about 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
I've seen clips of it,
Oh.
and I appreciate it for what it is. The movie is so segmented. There's not really a main plot. It kind of goes from Krypton to him as a kid, him going to Metropolis, Lex Luthor's real estate scam. There's so many great parts to it, but I don't think it's the most cohesive story. There are a lot of great elements of it. I think Christopher Reeve definitely is the best part of the movie. That's for sure.
He's definitely a timeless Superman. Like, he really solidified himself, not just from that role, but then, everything that happened to him in his life afterwards. He became such a big icon as a person. And I think he just endeared himself with just like the tragedy of his personal life that he is Superman.
Daughter, after losing his father, then her mother goes afterwards. Christopher Reeve and his wife, she's probably in her 20s now, their child, but after Christopher Reeve died, his wife started a fund and everything and raised money for charity, and then she got cancer and passed away, and then they've got this child that's basically an orphan, just like I was at 24, and that's not easy.
But Mr. Awesome's right. That John Williams Superman theme is awesome.
Yeah.
One of the most iconic music in any cinema.
Well, John Williams is like top 5 most iconic for anything you can think of. I mean, there's a lot of other great composers for movies, but like when you think of top 5 like most iconic, most memorable, they're all John Williams. Raiders of the Lost Ark. You got Star Wars. You have Superman. You have Jurassic Park. Well, I mean that has to be tops. I'm trying to think of another one that he's done.
I didn't see that because it's dinosaurs.
But you know the song though, right? Like the main theme.
No.
Oh gosh, wow! You got to at least listen to that soundtrack, Jess. It's a great soundtrack, despite the dinosaurs.
If it's about dinosaurs, I'm probably not going to.
Okay, I got to tell the story because I got to bounce after this.
Okay, let me get the picture up just so I can eventually show it. But you start telling.
Okay, so I'm talking to Jess on the phone. We're in the middle of a really important conversation, life-changing. There were tears on both ends. It was extremely intense. And then all of a sudden, dead silence. And I'm like, what happened? Did he have a stroke? Like, did he have a heart attack? Did he just die on the phone? I don't know where he went because I'm talking, pouring my heart out. And next thing I know, I hear this. And I'm like, what is that noise? And I'm like, Jess, did you drop the phone? Like, I seriously thought he dropped the phone. I'm like, Jess. And then all of a sudden, I hear him. I hear him go, I can't talk right now. Hold on. I'm trying to get this box off the porch. And he was just being so quiet. And he's like, I got the biggest box. I can't let my wife see me. I got to make it back to the basement. And he's just huffing and puffing down to the basement. I'm dying laughing because he is trying to sneak something off his porch. And then I could not believe, he's like, it's a really big box. And I'm like, okay, sure, it's a really big box. And he's like, no, I'll die if she sees this. And I'm like, sure, you'll die. And then he sent me this picture, and he's absolutely right. Like, he would have
been murdered. It's what's going to happen to you tomorrow, Tyler. It's basically what would have happened.
Don't you put that on me, Taylor. Relax, man. Relax.
My gosh.
Look at that box.
It looks like a magician's going to pop out of there and do a trick. It's huge.
The action figure is there for scale, but I got 2 boxes.
That's a 6-inch action figure. I mean, look at that thing.
How tall is that? That has to be like 4 feet tall, right?
I think so, yeah.
That's like a 5th grader or something. Like a 4th grader.
Yeah, I opened it up, and coincidentally, there was a 5th grader in there. Turns out somebody shipped me one.
Oh my gosh!
It was from Hasbro, and it was, and I was my wife. At this point now, it's just it's a losing battle. I'm gonna get nailed at some point for something really bad, but I was in the basement, and I got a message that something had been delivered, and I went, and I was going upstairs quietly. That's when Tyler didn't hear me, and I stuck my phone in my shirt pocket. When I opened the door, and I saw what it was, and I go, "Hold on, I have this box. I have to get it in."
But you did it. You stealthily and successfully did it. I think that's the most important thing.
I just love imagining Jess like just going like this, like going down the steps, like trying to be quiet, and trying to be like, dude, come on, I'm trying to hide this. Quiet.
That's totally what it was like.
But your wife was home. That's the crazy thing. She was there.
It was the perfect timing.
She was in the shower. Yeah.
It literally, like, how did you get so lucky, Jess?
But Tyler, Jess had like a 6-month streak where his wife saw not one box come in when the pandemic started. He would text me every single time a box came in. He would let me know she didn't catch me again. Yeah. But then he got nailed like back in like October or November, and the streak was over.
I honestly,
she wasn't upset or anything, but she caught you though.
Yeah, and that's when I said that these things were all pre-ordered, and she goes, "That's not going to even work on me anymore. Don't bother."
Well, I need that kind of luck for tomorrow because I have a box coming in, 2 boxes.
You need more than luck, dude. You need divine intervention.
57 action figures are arriving tomorrow from Big Bad Toy Store.
Can you imagine if, like, some reason, Tyler, you weren't home and it arrived, and your wife cuts open the boxes?
Well, dude,
and opens them up.
Here's the worst part. Okay, tomorrow's the Super Bowl, and since we've all got the vaccine, my parents are coming over to watch the Super Bowl with us. There's a very real possibility that we will all be watching the Super Bowl when FedEx arrives at our door with 2 giant BBTS boxes. Like,
yeah, the only thing worse than your wife seeing it is your dad seeing that.
Yeah, it's literally tomorrow may be D-Day, dude. It may be over. I may not be allowed on the show anymore. I may not be allowed to talk to you guys anymore. All of our friendships are going to be over. You'll find me buried in the backyard.
Your wife will do an Instagram story burying you.
Lord have mercy. It's okay. I got her back today.
Everyone needs to follow Tyler's wife on Facebook because all she does is roast Tyler in her stories, and it's the best thing ever.
She genuinely does.
It's hilarious.
She genuinely does. Bluntly Living is the name of the page. But I did steal her phone today and post on her page, which was also very fun and funny. All right, guys. Well, I got to go. Good luck on the show. There's a big box of Pokemon cereal that has to be eaten, so somebody's got to do it, and that's going to be me.
He's got Pokemon cereal.
It's got to be done. Got to be done. See you guys later.
See ya.
I'm a cereal box collector, and that Pokemon cereal is something I need to get.
God rest his soul.
What was in the box was...
It's very unlikely what was in the box. I was not expecting it, Jess, when you showed me the pictures.
I know what everybody's going to say because Taylor said it already, and I don't blame you. When you say it, this is all I'm getting. And I know everybody says, makes fun of that. Taylor, rightly so. I get it. But the fact is, these things take up too much room, and they're too risky to buy. And I don't have the room to store them in. I was in a phase for like 2 weeks where I wanted to have some of them to play with, but I really can't get any more. And I know, rightly so, you're skeptical of that. But I will show you what I got. It was 3 things in that one 4.5-foot box.
Mr. Awesome made the same exact Heinz joke that you made to Tyler earlier.
He did what?
Mr. Awesome made the same exact Heinz ketchup joke that you made to Tyler earlier. The 57 varieties.
57?
Yeah. Great Pittsburgh joke.
Yeah. Okay, just a sec. I'll tell you. I'm trying that this week, the collector. As you said, it was too late for this box.
What plans are you talking about? What scheme? What George Costanza scheme is he talking about?
You have UPS for $5 reroute your package to a UPS store if it requires a signature. So they'll hold it for you. And I did reroute it to a UPS store where they will hold it for me until I pick it up and I can sign for it there. So thank you, Duck Collector, for that idea. I'm definitely using it. So I did do that. But yeah, these were all things that I've never bought before, and they were. It's a relatively new thing that I'm into, so I don't see it going on long. I admit how cool they are, which is what makes me want these things, but I don't see this taking a long. Taking a chunk out of my precious space for books and stuff. It was a Transformers. It was mostly to accommodate this dude. Let me highlight myself here if I can. It was I got 3 Transformer boxes. There's this dude.
So you strictly got these because they look cool. Like you have no vested interest in Transformers at all, right?
I've never seen a movie, and I've never seen a show, and I've never read a book. This is strictly on how cool these things look and how fun they are to put together. And Tyler says these bigger ones are actually pretty difficult to put together.
Oh, okay. It's kind of like it's not like Legos, but there's a lot of intricacy that's involved in putting them together. It doesn't take like 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. The bigger they are, the more time they take. This is the biggest one they had that I got in my order.
Is that can be like the size of like Gwen Stacy behind you when you're done with it?
I think it's going to be bigger than her.
Oh gosh. No wonder you can't buy a bunch of them.
I think it's going to be.
Oh my gosh.
18 inches.
Does Omar have these?
Oh, I'm sure he must. I don't actually know. We haven't had a chance to talk much about Transformers. Yeah, 18 inches. That's bigger than Gwen. So, then the other thing, the next biggest thing, I have to be careful with this because it's a lot of pieces. And I got to be careful how I show it off.
That's a cool box.
Let's see what it's called. Transformer Generation Selects. This is called Generation Selects, but I feel like it's got something.
Wow.
There.
How many figures are in there?
Let me see if I can get a good view here for everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like, and some are robots, and some are already turned into whatever they're going to be. Yeah, I got these strictly because I thought they looked cool. I don't know what I don't know what they mean in the universe or anything. I just thought they really looked cool.
Do you know where you're going to put them yet? Or is that a question that you're not able to answer?
I don't even know when it's going to be safe to open this box. So, open it up and put it together.
Put it in one of your Heidi cubby holes.
They're full.
I was watching toy hunting videos today, Jess, on YouTube, and I was watching Sam earlier. And I didn't know that people like hide figures under the racks at Target and Walmart. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They lift them up and they hide them in there. Is the idea behind that, is that Target employees doing it, Walmart employees, or is that people who want to come back later and buy them because they can't afford to buy them all at once?
I think the Target and employees don't put them out, or I feel that it's customers that are the ones that hide them once they find them. That's been my limited experience with that. And then this is oh wait, I have the thing here. This is Super Megatron. So this looks cool too.
This definitely won't fit the motif that your wife has in the other part of the basement.
No, the Art Deco, everything's red.
Yeah, with robots and Transformers, that's not going to work.
Yeah, so that's why it's going to be hard to have this be a major hobby. But I had fun putting that Bumblebee together, so I enjoyed doing that. So that's why I want to. I have enough to keep me busy now for a while.
Well, that haul kind of ties into Streakazoid had a really good question at 808.
Oh, guys.
I just saw it earlier. I wanted to kind of ties into what's going on here. By the way, Streakazoid is actually comic bound on YouTube. He has a great comic book YouTube channel, so check him out. Subscribe. He has some good content.
The purchase one? Oh, this?
I think I know the answer to this one, but do you have an answer to this question?
Are you answering my question for me?
No, I mean, I was just curious what your answer would be. I think I know what your answer would be, but I don't know if the audience would.
Oh, well, yeah, I think you do know what the answer is, and that's the story that's called the Probation Pie story. This is the most trouble I had ever gotten in. This is back in 2016, and I excuse me, I need to go get something to drink. All this tangenting is making me thirsty. Streakazoid, back in 2016, I had made a homemade coconut cream pie from scratch. I made my own graham cracker crust, and I pan roasted the coconut flakes, used a special, I made my own custard and everything. And I did a couple of them, and one I gave to a really good friend of mine here for his birthday. So this was his birthday's in August. So this was about August when this happened, because you can't just make one and give it away. You got to make two and keep one at home. And it was a Saturday, and about 11, and we had coconut cream pie in the house. And it was just my wife and I in the house at that time. My daughter may have come back to live with us at that point. She stayed with us for a brief period, so she might have been home. But I got in a huge omnibus order where there were not only 5 or 6 omnis in there, but there were several other oversized hardcovers. And I had not really snuck much around at that point, and I opened the box Saturday morning and put everything. I ate a piece of pie for breakfast, which is not the smartest thing. I had a huge piece of coconut cream pie, and so I put my haul on the counter for me to look at, and it was 5 or 6 Omnis, all these other hardcovers, and several other books, and I'm like, this is cool. And the pie made me sleepy, so I went upstairs, and it was a Saturday, so I just took a nap for 2 or 3 hours, and I came down, and I heard this tapping of a foot, and my wife was standing right there, tapping her foot, looking at me, and I go, what? And she just pointed to all those books, and she said, you are on probation from buying books for the next 3 months. This cannot go on. And I said, okay. And so that is the probation pie story, that I got put on probation for eating that pie and leaving those books out for her to find.
That's the origin story of Omnidog. That would be like that'd be one of the first scenes in the movie. Doc Lecter had a funny story while you were talking about yours. He said, I had to let my wife book a vacation because she brought up the time recently when I bought another arcade, but it was Star Wars.
Let's see. I'm trying to catch up on everything.
It's impossible at this point to catch up. There's so many.
Okay, let me.
I'll answer some questions while you get a drink.
Okay, good. I got to get something to drink because I'm dying of thirst.
So, guys, ask me some questions while Jess is getting his cranberry juice, I think is what he drinks.
Oh, I'm going to get a Coke.
Okay, I'll scroll up a little bit. All right, Lloyd Wong asked at 811. Sorry, I can't highlight it for you guys. He said, I'm behind on Tom King's Batman. I don't have volume 4 and 5 deluxe, but was wondering if there's anything in the reading order I also need to read. Just totally skip Night of the Monster Men, which is a crossover early on in the series. The Batman issues are in the first deluxe, but they're terrible. Skip that. The button issues, the Batman button issues are in those deluxes, but you do have to read the Flash issues, which are not in those deluxes. So you might want to buy the button hardcover to fully get that storyline. And I'm hoping they're going to solicit a volume 6 deluxe at some point so we can finish out Tom King's run in hardcover. If they don't solicit that, I'm going to be very angry because I have all 5 of them. I have 2 stupid black spines on my shelf that look really dumb. So I'm hoping they actually stick with the rest of this line and actually go through with it. Yeah, we should call Jess's origin movie Omnidog Year 1. That would be great.
Who said that?
Lloyd Wong.
Very funny.
And T-Lar Blunt wants me to talk about the time I got most in trouble. I don't think I ever got. There's not like a funny story I can tell. I mean, I'm not trying to be like a suck up if my wife is watching. She's always been really supportive, and she's never gotten mad at me. There's maybe been times where she seems slightly annoyed, like you're getting another box in, like really. There was never a time where she'd have put her foot down like Jess had with his wife.
There is a defining moment in your relationship, though, that I will never forget.
Are you talking about the Gauntlet?
Yeah, Christmas of 2019. Let me get it.
Yeah, my wife. I mean, I'm starting to slowly get into action figures. I have like 12 action figures now. I'm hoping to get several more. And my wife, she's less supportive of that than she is comic books. She's like, I get comic books. I don't really get figures, but she's become more supportive of it. But it's only to a certain point, right? I can't go with that line too much. But Jess does have something I really wanted, and she said no.
She didn't just say no. This is the...
That thing is so cool. That's the Iron Man Gauntlet from Infinity. Oh, I guess Endgame. Jess loves to rub this in my face.
I do not. I bring it. I do not like to do that. I'm only doing it to illustrate a point, and that is that I had it, and Taylor said that he also wanted. I got it on super sale in December 2019 because it's expensive, and your wife said the most mom thing any mom has ever mommed, and she said, when we go visit Jess, you can play with his when you go there.
You're right.
My
That is
mother would have
noticeable.
said that. Any mother would have said that. And that's what happens to women when they have children. They become moms. You can play with that at Jess's house, is what she said.
Oh gosh, Super Squad D. He says, I think I have the Thanos version of the gauntlet in my attic. He has a million things in his attic.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah, so that's probably again, I didn't buy anything, but that was definitely a moment where she was like, no, you're not going to buy that. But she was right. I need to have it. It's enough to watch Jess's. It's still pretty cool, though.
You know I'm going to get tired of it and just send it to you one day.
That'd be a hard one to fit in. That's a lot of room to take up, isn't it? Where do you put it, on the floor?
It's on the floor, yeah. There's nowhere else to put it.
Well, you can actually snap the fingers, though, right?
What?
You can snap the fingers, right?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Like, how do you do it in the glove to make it snap? You just move your thumb and your pointer.
There's individual levers in there.
Okay.
For the fingers and thumb, and you pull on them. You can individually control each it's got a lever.
My jealousy heightens by the minute.
I don't do it to make you jealous.
And Super Squad D, I don't think getting dioramas would help the situation.
No, I'm not going to try to give you the middle finger. That's cliche. I snap the finger. Yeah, this is my new hand cast. Good one, Farhan. Walk around with this and see if those bitches ignore me, man.
The fall of Omni, Doug.
That's what it's called. That's the permanent scenario in my diorama.
And you still have that diorama set up, right?
Sorry?
You still have that diorama set up, right?
I'm in the process of changing all the characters in it, because I had the ones in it had been there from the beginning, and so I'm putting new scenes in now. But Fall of Omnidog is going to stay there on the bottom part of the diorama for a while, since the women just stood by and watched me. I found some really good action figures for it, like what's her name? The bald daughter of Thanos. What's her name?
Oh, come on, what's her name? Why can't I think of her name? Gamora is the other one.
Yeah. She's
oh my god!
In real life.
Why can't everyone in the chat will probably get 1 million people in the chat.
Oh yeah, they're all going to come pouring in. But she in particular looks really good because she can put her hands on her hips and bend
Nebula. We have 5 nebulas.
Nebula, yeah. 5 nebulas in a row. She can put her hands on her hips like this with her fists and
like Superman.
over down at the man on the ground. Well, Gwen Stacy's just sort of standing there, but Nebula can actually move enough to look down on me.
Lloyd Wong, can you explain what show you're talking to us about? He's asking us about a particular episode of a show, but can you let us know what series you're talking about? We hopefully can answer that question. Yeah, I'm not sure what show he's talking about. If you could let us know, we'll try to answer that question. But if you guys want to see that diorama, go to Instagram, OmniDog_vault, OmniDogs_vault, and you can find that diorama. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'll put the link to it in the description. I have some more figures posed that I put up on it.
And it has the anachronism of Jess having the pink cast. It was after that he got the cast, but it's funny though.
Yeah, I posed Wolverine down on the ground with the women staring at him because it's old man Wolverine. And then I got the pink cast that I put on him and took a picture of him. But yeah, Omni Logan is down on the ground with a pink cast on his hand. Well, thank you, Saz Murph. I hope you're enjoying the show. This is fun.
Cade Riley has a good question at 826.
826. Okay. I'm let me know what I'm missing because I whoops. 826. Oh, Cade Riley. Uh-huh.
Jess, you've seen Breaking Bad, right?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch Breaking Bad. It's one of the I have it behind me, obviously.
I see you, yeah.
It's one of the best TV shows of all time.
That's what I heard.
This has some supernatural elements to it, but this has like the drugs element, and that's Bone Parish by Cullen Bunn. That's a great supernatural crime story. That was one of the first crime corners we did, Jess. That's a great series. Like one of the first like 3 or 4 that we did. So that's a great series. Everyone should check out. I'm really hoping that Boom does like a hardcover of it at some point. That would be great. I don't think Boom's the best at doing a lot of hardcovers unless it's like a big series like Power Rangers or Buffy or something like that.
And if anything comes out in Boom on hardcover that you want, you better get it like the first week.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Because then they go out of print. Lloyd Wong says any show.
Oh, it's a very wide-reaching question.
Wait, what was the question? Particular episode that you feel you enjoyed or was really memorable of any show?
We did talk about Seinfeld a lot, so there's that one.
Well, there's lots of Simpsons episodes that's something that Taylor and I generally can't talk about because he wasn't allowed to watch it growing up. And so I haven't been putting the pressure on him to watch it because it would be 200 shows on my part to the one show on his part. Have you watched Simpsons yet, dude? No, have you watched the other 200 shows that you need to catch up on, Jess? So I don't bother him about it. He needs to watch episodes years 2 through 7 on Simpsons the most.
Yeah, you told me to skip season 1. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it's not funny. The animation's really poor. It was just finding its legs. Season 2 immediately became classic because you look at some of the writers, and it's same with season 3. Like Conan O'Brien wrote some of the most memorable episodes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know he wrote on SNL. I didn't know he wrote on Simpsons.
Yeah. Before he had his show, he was writing episodes on The Simpsons. So that's why it's super snappy when he's writing an episode. Do you guys have a particular episode that you feel you enjoyed or was really memorable? I mean, I go all the way back to flipping My Name is Little Margie or whatever that show was in the 50s. So I'm trying to think. Okay, Lassie used to make me cry as a kid, and my parents said I couldn't watch it anymore. It was on Sunday nights, and I was bereft as a 4-year-old that Lassie would. And it's to this day when I hear the theme song from Lassie, I get choked up.
That's also in Seinfeld, wherever Kramer doesn't have a voice and he has to try to tell the cops, and they chase after him.
Yeah.
Lloyd Wong was talking about our favorite Baturdays we've ever done.
Oh,
so we've been talking about Lassie and other stuff. I know what will be my favorite episode of Baturdays in the BatCave, which will be our BTAS review at some point this year.
It's coming sooner than you might think. I know you have given hope a couple times, but I am way into it now that Robin is a big part of it, and now that Barbara Gordon just got introduced, I am way into it now. It was good, really good before those guys, but this is a new element that's got me really invested in it now.
Well, it's kind of like Batman comics. I love solo Batman stories, but it's nice to kind of have a little bit of spice and have like Robin thrown in there, to have Batgirl thrown in there. I mean, I love solo Batman stories, but it's also cool to see the Bat family. I think both add interesting elements.
Yeah, I always think the Bat family helps bring out another facet of Batman / Bruce Wayne's personality. When you have another like Robin is there, Batman acts differently than he does on his own. So that's why I like it. Even though Robin was like in the episode 3 where it was Joker's Christmas, you don't see him again for a long time.
He shows up periodically throughout the first season.
Yeah.
It's not a ton. Like he has that Fear of Victory episode where all those different sports players are talking sports language.
Sports players?
Sports ball. All those different sports ball players. Did you see that one, Fear of Victory, when they all get like the envelopes delivered to them with the toxin on it, where they start freaking out?
Haven't got to that one yet.
Oh, you haven't gotten to that one yet? Okay. Sports players. Oh, we didn't even get to our So, do you have an answer to that question? Your favorite Baturdays we've ever done, or
my favorite Baturdays?
Apparently, that was the question that Lloyd Wong was actually asking.
Oh, I think every one of the shows has been fun. I feel like we got into a really good rhythm with Maddie when we did that fandom episode, DC Fandom.
And we did Wonder Woman with her. We were supposed to do Fandom with her, but then there was like a last minute change in our schedules.
It's in my library as Fandom. Are you sure?
We both did the Fandom together.
Oh, but she couldn't.
She was supposed to, but we had to change the schedule because of how the Fandom thing rolled out. She wasn't able to. But she did the 2 weeks before that with Wonder Woman.
Okay. Well, then it was Wonder Woman. Okay, that's right. I enjoyed having her on the show because she's very easy to talk to, and she's fun. So I enjoyed that one. I think any show we have that we have a topic for and gets a lot of audience participation even before the topic and almost derails the topic. I like those because we're answering questions that people are throwing at us really fast and I have to scroll through the questions. I really enjoy those. And there is the one episode, I feel like this was December before COVID, so maybe 2019. And I told you about this, where you and I had a ton of question and answer. We had like almost 100 people in the audience that were asking questions, and we were just pumping back the answers, and it was really organic between the audience and us. We were all having fun. My body literally produced some chemical that got me so high, it kept me high for like 4 hours after that. I sat in my chair and told my wife about it, and I said, I just want to enjoy whatever drug this is my body has produced. If there's a doctor out there, maybe they can explain it, but there was so much excitement between Taylor, me, and the audience, and so much interaction. It fired up like extra dopamine or something in my blood, because I literally felt on the greatest high of my life. It lasted till like midnight. And I was just like, whoa, this is so great. We had so much fun. So, is it our endorphins? Maybe tons of endorphins.
I remember that was the Batman Black and White omnibus review that we did.
It was?
Yeah, it was like the topic. It was funny because the review itself, we both thought the book was fine. We didn't love it. We didn't hate it.
I think mine is probably being generous.
But I remember that was like, we had a lot of conversation around that review.
Oh.
You seem surprised.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't recall that we had that great of a conversation about that book, but it was the after conversation that made it so fun.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I love Batman. I love all the Batman themed episodes we've done, and we'll do more in the future. I think the show kind of took on a different life of its own once we started doing different stuff and we started experimenting with other topics. I think that's when we really started hitting our groove. And I think our most popular video is the How to Curate Your Collection. And that was a really great video, I thought. I think that was a really fun video to do.
That was fun. I really, really liked that video. That was a lot of fun to do. Is that our most popular?
I think that's the most viewed. I think our most viewed are like is our first one. The first one we ever did about overrated and underrated Batman books.
That has the most views?
That's one of them. I think it's like top 3 or 4.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the Metal reading order review. That one has a lot of views. I think because we added the reading order element. I think that led a lot of people to watch it. And then the curating video is by far number 1.
And then we always get comments in the videos, and Taylor's kind of gotten smacked a little bit in the past couple of weeks. And I think that we may do a mean comments to Taylor episode.
Yeah, the thing that sucks is like the first mean comment I ever got, and to be clear, I don't get that many. They happen like every once in a while. Everyone's pretty much really nice. But the first one I ever got, we can't find it. I think the person deleted it because I can't find it. We were looking for it. Captain Buzz. Yeah, so I think it was one of our first crime corners. I remember that because the guy was saying about a show that I invented and I told Jess that we should do. He said, "This Taylor guy adds nothing to your show, Jess. You should do it without him. He just adds a weird buzzing noise." And it was like, okay, well, thanks. First of all, this is my idea. So the show wouldn't exist without me. But you came to my defense, but he didn't respond. So
and we think he deleted it?
I don't know. I've never seen him before or after that ever again.
Well, it was in the first 4 crime corners that we did.
Right. I'll have to look again and see if I can find it. Everybody, let me know if you can find it. Tell me which video it's on. We can stick the chat on it. But someone did, speaking of Maddie, someone asked, do you think we'll ever have Maddie back on? I do have a topic I think she would be good for.
Oh?
I think doing like our favorite female-centric comics, like our kind of like this is our favorite comic books featuring a female protagonist. That could be a good one.
Sure.
I think she has a lot of different books like that under her belt.
Yeah.
We really should change this to Tangent Days in the Tangent Cave. That should be the new title.
Wait, let's see how to pronounce this. Tangenter Days in the Tangentave. Phil, that's a good idea, but I think it's too hard to pronounce.
Yeah, if we can't say it, then we probably shouldn't name it that.
Tangenter Days. Farhan, thanks for the nice comments. This show is something that I love doing. I love helping people find good comic books to read, and I know Taylor does too. That's why I do. I'll never have 3 million subscribers because all I ever do is review graphic novels in order to give people an idea of what's out there, give them 10 choices and hope they buy 2 and enjoy them, and it furthers the hobby. There's not 3 million people in that. I mean, I'm probably at my peak of that, but I also, as far as subscribers go, but I'm also the happiest I've ever been because I got a fan base like everybody in here right now that likes watching us and takes our recommendations, and it helps them have more fun with comic books. So I don't know that I could ever get a bigger base than what I have now for subscriptions. But I help, and Taylor helps, and Kristen and T-Bone help people find books they may not have known about before. And it's a great feeling when somebody says, "You recommended this book, I love it." I love that feeling. That is such a good feeling to know you contributed positively to somebody's life through comics. Because especially 2020 and 2021 isn't shaping up any better so far. Has been really sucky for people. And if you can make their life a little bit better by helping them escape into comics, that is really a good feeling. And so I am really happy that some people enjoy our recommendations.
And people seem to like watching us talk about literally anything. We were talking about the SATs earlier. We were talking about pop. We were talking about brand Oreos, things like that. So it's cool that people like to just listen to us talk about nothing. Kind of like Seinfeld.
Yeah, here's the collector saying about tons of books because of that show. Which one was that? No, I thought maybe he was talking about our show. Maybe he's talking about somebody else's show.
Elvis Parker has a good question above that, Jess.
What's your guys' favorite comic characters that aren't from DC or Marvel? Irredeemable from Boom. That's the first one. I like Madman, although a lot of people don't think he's a superhero, so that's probably a bad example.
Well, it's any character, so it doesn't have to be a superhero.
Oh, comic character. Okay, yeah, I love Madman. I love Irredeemable with the Plutonian. Let's see. All my science fiction and fantasy books are on the other side of this side, but I love Dynamite's James Bond run, and I think Taylor does too.
Yeah, we're gonna do hopefully a part 2 James Bond review on Crime Corner sometime soon because we reviewed Warren Ellis's already, and we want to review all of them at some point. We're not gonna do all of them in the next review. We'll probably do a part 2 and a part 3 to get through all of them. But it's all been hits and no misses for me so far.
And these are books that you've all physically bought?
I have another one coming in. I have most of them. I still have a couple more I have to buy, but I have more of them than I don't.
See, that's a sign of a good book because a lot of times you will hoopla a book and not go out and buy it. For you to buy a book, it's got to mean that book has to mean something to you, and you want a spot for it in your collection. So that's a pretty big testament to the quality of the James Bond from Dynamite.
And it has a bunch of different creators too. It's not like it's by one creator. It's a bunch of different ones, but they've all been excellent so far. Yeah. Maybe there'll be a stinker. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. But so far, I've read 6 of them, I think, and they've all been great so far. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of them. So yeah, I agree that those James Bond books, more people need to read them. I don't hear people talk about them enough.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about them, and then I'll make a separate video about them, and I'll take out advertising in the on national television. We'll get it going.
I agree with Lloyd Wong. Forever Carlyle from Lazarus is a great character.
Oh, that's a really
I loved John Blacksad from Blacksad. He was a great character, and I love his friend. What was his friend's name? Who drank? What did he drink all the time? Remember his reporter photographer friend who was at the diner? He was great. I can't remember his name though.
I mean, I can go grab it. It's right here. I know right where it is.
I'm sure the chat will spam us with 20 answers.
All right. I'll just wait for the chat to spam us with it.
It's funny because our comments are delayed on StreamYard, so we don't see everybody's comments till 30 seconds later. It's funny when you see them all just come together at the same time.
Look at Farhan. He's just full of nice things to say. You guys are amazing and awesome, decent human beings who have treated us first class, man. I owe you guys a lot and what it did to my life in general. That's a pretty big compliment. Thank you, Farhan. I really appreciate that. That's really a nice thing to say. That's remarkably nice. Thank you.
And Blackstad's friend was Weekly. That was his name. And I forget what he always drank at the diner, but he was also a great character. I think they're doing more of that series in the future. I hope so. I love that book.
Oh, I hope so too.
That's another series like James Bond everyone needs to check out.
Yeah. Oh, we've actually got a big knot of compliments here that I went over. So let's see. Into the Tangent Verse.
That's a good title, Man 40.
Yeah. Oh, Tevin Lawrence. I just checked. Batman Who Laughs is the most viewed Baturdays. Interesting.
I think that was part of the metal review, wasn't it? I can't
I think
remember.
it was separate. There was because
maybe you're right.
After the 4 books.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Thanks for checking.
Who the hell comes up with a nasty comment? You guys are awesome and amazing and have always been decent and treated us first class. Omar and I, back in, I guess, 2018, put together a video called Mean Comments, like mean tweets, where we read our mean comments. And at that time, my show was young enough and he was big enough that we both got a lot of criticisms. Mine were more lectury and kind of more get your facts straight before you get even on the air. And Omar's were a lot more personal. And I typically, I don't let comments bother me. I kind of think they're funny that somebody took all their effort to write somebody they're never going to meet, a letter criticizing something that's already happened. My Neil Adams review of his Batman Omnibus is my biggest video. And that has unleashed a torrent of vicious criticism where that I had a bit of a thin skin about, and I deleted him, and I really wish I hadn't, because one of them was very long, picked it apart, and my educational background apart. And when you look back with a proper perspective, you know, they are writing about you. They're taking their time to write about you. So you've kind of already won the battle. Even though they're saying mean things about you, you've ginned up some passion about the hobby, which is good. And you've upset them enough that they're writing about you to you. And Omar, he's more confrontational than I am. He'll take the mean comments and pin it to the top of his board and start ripping into the guy and just have a 10-day brawl with the person. And I don't want to spend my time that way, but
his were infinitely worse than yours, I remember.
His are really mean, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Contrary to what my mom thinks, not everyone's going to like me. So there's that. You're never going to be liked by every single person that you interact with in person or online. So once you accept that, your life will be a lot better.
Yeah, and when you take it a step further and hate everyone proactively, like I do, then you're sad.
You just hate me and Tyler a little bit less than everybody else.
Oh, I actually love you guys. I like the tangents. The conversation flows so effortlessly. So much fun. Yeah, we are good. We're good friends, and that helps the show. Thank you, Mr. Awesome.
And Real Big Cohen, that's 846. He would like to see some more old school DC reviews from you.
Oh, he just said, do Star Wars videos or Lego videos? I can't believe how many views they get. Well, that reminds me that I'm getting a Lego for my birthday in March. So I will be doing I don't know how I'm going to do that because I've never put Lego together. So I may have to, for the first time, have to watch somebody else's videos. I don't like doing that. I like to do my own content. But what am I supposed to show me spilling out 48 million pieces and saying, it always starts with the first piece, and put down one piece or something? I don't even know.
I think people kind of do like they kind of speed it up a little bit.
Oh.
So you can maybe do that, I guess. You can
yeah, I'm going to do that.
Maybe send it to Tyler or something. Have him do it. Or to Gio. They're both really good editors. I would check with those guys. I'm sure people
they are good editors. Oh, wait. Yes, we appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you, Remco. Just quality over quantity any day. You have the best 6,000. Well, not there yet. Subscribers in the whole world. You guys are good. Tevin says, shucks, you're going to make us cry.
It's been quite the sentimental episode.
Yeah, Super Squad D. I think you're underestimating yourself, Jess. There are a lot more people who will find you and love your channel. It's just about folks seeing your content. You have a great vibe and it's contagious. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Tyler. I don't know how I can get more discovered. I'm a review channel, whereas, you know, comic book reviews just aren't going to be big. And that's cool with me at this point in my life. I've already, I don't need I mean, I don't need it as a way to make a living, and I'm doing it for fun. And I'm also doing it with the least effort possible. I'll be the first person to admit I don't want to edit anything. I want to get on the air and just say, you guys need to read this, show you pictures, and then send it off to YouTube.
The most you'll do is put your Omni Dog theme song in the beginning, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Tyler and I were looking at our YouTube analytics this morning, and all my videos have a spike in the first 18 seconds and then level off. Everybody tunes in for Nate's stop motion video of me in the song, and then they either watch a little bit of it or they don't watch anything at all.
That's funny.
Marcelo, you are a longtime fan. Thank you. Thanks for doing it. I always have a good time watching. Thank you. Come for the comics, stay for the tangents. Here's a nice thought from Streakazoid. You guys both make our lives better every time you make a show. That is I'm amazed that you feel that way, Streakazoid. That's really a nice compliment. You may have noticed we love comics, but we'll show up just to hang out with you. Yeah, we're not talking about anything today, and you guys still showed up. I really appreciate that. But that's a really nice thing to say. Your first sentence is amazing. Bobby Keating, Jess, you've helped me diversify my collection in so many different ways, be it genres, authors, or artists. I love having a more eclectic collection due in large part to your recommendations. That's really what I set out to do. So thank you, Bobby, for the feedback and letting me know that that's succeeding. That's one of the reasons why I like having Taylor, Tyler, and Kristen on, because they help me diversify my reading even more. Not only will you guys find out about different books, but I'll find out about them too.
Yeah, the three of us couldn't be any more different. Tyler, Kristen, and myself.
Oh yeah, Kristen's choices. I always like those because there's definitely a solid chunk of people that like the independent stuff that she does. And I don't think it's being addressed enough in the YouTube comic community. And I say that admitting that I never go to see anybody else's videos. But I highly doubt anybody's highlighting the books she reads. And that's why I like to get her on the show, because she's so excited and charged up about all these independent books. And she got me to like Lumberjanes and Giant Days, which are gifts to the comic community. So that's something I really appreciate. Mr. YouTube, Mr. Awesome says, no offense to anyone, but I enjoy how you still maintain that personal connection. Sometimes these YouTubers grow so big and they lose that quality. Well, you're not offending me, which is the important thing. You can offend the other guys, but I love to answer every comment, whether it's negative or positive. I love to answer it and at least give the person that took the time to write the comment, if it's serious, to give them a comment back. Except for that racist guy that one time. I shouldn't have engaged with him.
Yeah, it's probably better not to engage.
Yeah. I don't think so, man. And when I say I don't think so, I am not going to.
I'm just not a big Spawn guy, to be honest.
if you like them, I'm sure that the compendiums are probably a great way to read them. I read them back in the 90s, some of the issues, and it just didn't light me up. But if you love him, then I would get the compendiums, as that seems to be the best way to read him. I don't know anything about him though, really. I don't even know enough to talk about anything.
All I really know is that horrible 90s movie that I saw when I was younger.
Wasn't Martin Sheen in that thing?
Yeah, he was the bad guy. And the funny thing is, that was like, I think that was right before he did The West Wing. So probably one of the worst things ever done in his career preceded one of the best things ever done in his career.
Wow, he's a real actor too.
I know. But I think every actor has many movies like that. If you look at Robert De Niro's filmography recently,
really?
You have like The Irishman, and you have Silver Linings Playbook, but then you have like Grandpa War or Bad Dirty Grandpa.
Right.
It's just like they're some of them are just doing it for a paycheck to make some money, and they don't care about the quality of the movie. So they have a lot of hits, but they have some misses too.
For those of you out there that like Jackass movies, that should be everyone out there. Bad Grandpa with
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville is
that has one of the
great.
I've never laughed harder at a movie than the scene in the diner with his grandson. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to ruin it. My wife and I remember it was in our first apartment, and we were both rolling around on the ground laughing. We were laughing it was so unexpected. That movie is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the other movies you mentioned because there's actually a storyline to it.
Yeah.
There's like a personal connection. There's like a heartfelt moment in it. I like that. I like how they kind of incorporated the pranks into a story.
Yeah.
It's a really funny movie.
Let's see. I went past just I missed a whole chunk of all this stuff. It's more people saying how nice we are. Oh, Jess, would you recommend those new Madman library editions coming out? Yeah, you have to have a sense of humor about him. He's a very offbeat character. You're not going to really learn anything from him, but I don't think you have to. He's Mike Allred just draws him almost like a stream of consciousness coming out of his head, but it's really fun and creative to just see such an offbeat character like Madman. I'm going to be keeping what I have, but if I didn't, I would for sure get these Madman library editions, knowing that he is an offbeat sort of superhero who shoots plastic discs at people out of his gun, and is just really offbeat. You're not going to get anything close to, Alan Moore or Scott Snyder or something. I mean,
not everything has to be like that.
No, exactly. I'm not. I want to make sure I'm not building it up too much. It's not going to be an instant classic, but it's fun enough that it's become very popular, and I think that's really important. So yes, definitely get them, because Atomica and Gargantuan are impossible to get. Oh, here's a good idea. Jess, I'd love to see some old school DC reviews from you. It's hard to find people who really have a great perspective on some of those books. I'm reading Demon Trilogy and really loving it. Real Big Cohen's a really nice guy. He sent me something in the past couple of months that was a really nice gift. Real Big, you and I should get in a conversation on Facebook about and see if we can hash out some ideas of what you'd like to see. Because I'd rather find out what you want to see than what I want to do. I want to know what the fan wants from me. So send me a PM, and let's try and figure out what you'd like to see specifically.
I know I gave you the idea somewhat recently that you should do like three different shows. One about the Golden Age, one about Silver Age and Bronze Age. Like these are the essentials to read from these three eras. So I think some of your viewers really do care about those eras of comics that you do have a lot of knowledge about.
Okay.
Even though I'm not someone who like desperately wants to watch a Golden Age or Silver Age video, I think you do have viewers who would like to hear about that content.
Gold and silver, bronze.
Like if you're going to go wade through those eras, here's some things you definitely need to read.
I don't know that I could actually give anything. I don't know that I could give it that much of a new perspective. You're not going to discover new books from me through that, because I tend to like, you know, in the Bronze Age, it's going to be Green Lantern 76 and Ra's al Ghul with Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams for Batman type stuff, and Conan #1. And Silver Age, it's going to be all about Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. And Golden Age, I don't think you should read. I have 20 of those books upstairs.
That'd be the shortest video of all time. Don't read any of it.
I've come to the realization that I'm not going to read those books, and I love those books. If I was 13's when I developed my love for Golden Age, and 13-year-old me would have read those all day. But at this point now, I like to read what's modern, and I'm not necessarily into the 1940s version of Mr. Mxyzptlk. So
I told you months ago, I said you were trying to purge. I said you should get rid of all those Golden Age books because you're never going to read them. Not trying to speak ill of them. I know you have the connection to them as a child, but like you just said, they're not going to read them again.
Yeah. Now I have read the second tier characters like Adam Strange and Suicide Squad, Doom Patrol, Legion of Superheroes, and Supergirl. Those are all great. I love reading those. But I don't know that I need to read 8 straight volumes of Golden Age Batman.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the Bronze Age Batman to come out. I want to have those omnis.
Oh, me too. But at this rate, is there even anything scheduled to come out this year?
I don't even know. I don't think so.
No, I'm going to be dead.
Again, DC has no idea what they're doing, so I'm not going to trust them.
Yeah, they don't have a collected editions department anymore. Let's see. Jess, I sent wait, where'd it go? There it is. I sent you something on Messenger, and I'd love to see your reaction live. Okay. I have my phone right here on Messenger. Hayden English sent 2 photos.
Are you going to share with the rest of the class?
Yeah, I am. Gosh, I look pretty good.
Rolling pins and needles.
Just a sec. My wife's asking me a silent question about. You can give her all her meds right now.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Give her all her pain meds.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Did you make this, Hayden? What? I don't even understand how this is possible. Oh, made with the Reface app. Okay, I may have to go to Facebook so I can show this properly. This is the funniest thing ever. Not last year, but 2019, we raised money for comics for kids. We raised $800, Lou and I did, by dressing up as women. I shaved my beard and mustache, and I dressed up as Wonder Woman, and Lou dressed up as some Elseworlds version of Harley, I think.
I think she was Supergirl. Was he Supergirl? Harley was whenever he lost that one bet.
Oh,
and then he was Supergirl, and he looked terrifying when he had that big makeover.
Okay, he said, "This is Hayden said, I made a cursed image. These are actually really good. So let me see if I can share the screen of what he did, because it's really awesome. Thank you, Hayden. You're a crack up.
And while Jess is showing that, Elvis Parker, what is Taylor's opinion on manga? Not very much of one. You're all, if you love manga, great for you. I'm happy for you. It's just not for me.
Application window. Here's the application window. Okay, let's see if I can make this bigger. It said I made a cursed image. There's how I look. There's how I looked, and this is what he's done with that image. I got my wife put makeup on me. I had a whole uniform and everything that I got that actually fit really well. Whoops, that's the other one he made. He sends me a lot of stuff. Oh wait, there's not. Oh, okay, it's because I clicked on it. Okay, just a sec. I'll get it figured out.
You look like Selena Kyle in Dark Knight Returns.
Look, there I am mixed with her. Is that amazing?
That's crazy.
That I actually look pretty good there.
You definitely have to post that to the Facebook group, Jess, when we're done here.
Okay. If you think people are interested in it.
Yeah. Pretty sure people will get a good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. I'm someone who has night terrors. I'm definitely gonna have a night terror tonight.
Well, you're the one that's telling me to post it to Facebook.
Yes, everybody else can be terrified as well. This is great. Wow.
Yeah, Hayden, you did a great job with this.
It actually looks like you're actually. That's really good.
Yeah, it looks like a feminine version of me.
For all you people who stuck with us for 2 hours, you got a nice treat with these gifs. That was awesome.
Thank you, Hayden. That was awesome.
Well, Jess, I don't know if we can do any better than that. I should probably wrap it up soon anyway.
Okay, let me just go over the last questions. No more questions. Peace and love. Peace and love. Let me get caught up in questions. And okay, Kate Riley loves our videos about best Superman and Batman books.
That was a fun one too.
Sorry?
So that was a good one too.
Before that video, I never knew what Superman standalone books to get. Okay, good. Mr. Awesome, love how you two maintain a personal connection with the audience. Conversations flow, feel natural. It really feels like we're all friends here in the chat. You guys are the best. It does feel like we're all friends here because you guys have been coming here week after week for a long time, so we get to know each other. After your video, I bought 3 or 4 of those standalone Superman books, and I love them. Thanks, guys. Now the Superman books are very important to me. That is what Taylor and I really want to hear.
I think one of my favorite moments is whenever we sold out Fury Max on Amazon. There was like 12 copies or something left on Amazon, and after our review, they were all gone. That was awesome.
We loved Fury Max, and yeah, that actually was really cool. Marcelo, I don't know.
That's a quote from Seinfeld.
How can anyone not like you?
Yeah, with it, Jerry's mom says that. How can anyone not like you?
That's right. I can just see her saying that.
And Bobby Keating had a funny comment farther down. He said, "Are these pictures from the Snyder Cut?"
Lego instructions are super easy to follow. The bags in Lego are numbered. Taylor, do you or your own channel?
I don't have my own channel. I played around with it for a while, and I think I'm just happy and content to do what I do on this channel for right now. I think
ride my coattails.
Well,
totally.
I won't respond to that I won't dignify that with a response, Jess. I think there's so many comic review channels online. I'm just wondering what would set me apart, and just trying to kind of grind through the trying to get subscribers. I just don't know if I also don't want to edit. I'm also lazy in that way, and I just don't know if I want to.
Hey, I've got that space covered.
I don't want to buy more lighting.
Space is covered.
So I'm happy just to do what we're doing here. It's like I'm doing it for money. I'm not doing it for a living. I just do it for fun.
Yeah, it is fun. How about making debate videos with your what? Oh, I don't like this question already. Your wife, maybe, about how to get into comic, financial management, Dr. Pepper, Alf, etc. What's the question in there? Or what's the suggestion? Can you narrow it down a little bit? There is a little bit of everything. Every time I hear the theme song, it stays with me the rest of the day. I love that song. I actually have 45s of that song, so I need to auction them off and send the proceeds to Comic Books for Kids, because Nate sent me 12 copies of that record, and anybody with a record player can listen to it. It's actually really a great song. And that's Omnidog's theme song he's talking about. Just as the sole reason why I started buying Omnis, I was a massive fan of Harley Quinn New 52, then saw the Omni and his Why You Should Read Harley Quinn video, and it's been a slippery slope since. If I can contribute to the delinquency of somebody reading Harley Quinn, I am happy to do that, Aiden. Thank you. And thank you for that great. I will post the. Oh my gosh. He just sent another one. This is the creepiest one yet. I'll try. I don't know. Can I just drag these images? They're all Giphy memes or something.
Can you airdrop them to your laptop?
Yeah.
You can do that instead of having to do on YouTube. I mean, I'd go up on Facebook.
Okay, I'll do that right after this. Hey guys, it's been a while since I caught a live show because I moved time zones. We just wanted to say hi and thanks for the recommendations. Jess, you put me on Dakota and it was amazing. Yes. Good, Ridge. I loved Coda too. I'm glad you did too.
And check out our Cy Spurrier interview if you haven't watched that already. We talk about Coda in that.
Yeah, I need to give Taylor some more credit because he is the one, except for Mark Wade. I found Mark Wade, but Taylor is the problem. When I get both of them in a conversation, it is impossible. But Taylor is the one that goes out and finds these creators and writes up the questions for them, sends me thumbnails, does everything. And he's really the driving force behind these interviews. When he told me he had Greg Rucka, I thought he had caught typhoid fever or something. I thought he was delirious. And we had Greg Rucka on the show. And so Taylor deserves all the credit. He's got a good one lined up for, is that later this month?
I haven't heard back from this particular individual yet, but they seem really interested and we seem to have a date picked out, but I don't want to say anything definitive yet. So we'll see. We hope to have one coming up in the next couple weeks.
That's good. Yeah.
That's from Mr. Coattails himself.
Oh, brother. You know I was kidding.
I don't care.
Yeah, so Taylor gets these guys and it's always really fun. And I always feel like I'm never going to know what to say to these people. And every single one of them, especially John Arcudi, was so down to earth and easy to talk to that we didn't have a problem. Greg Rucka was the same way. Cy Spurrier, I mean, all of them have been that way.
We haven't had a bad interview yet.
So. No, not at all. Everybody's been. Mark Wade was that way. All of them have been very easy to talk to and very interested in our questions. I know Taylor tries to come up with an interesting angle. There's probably not an angle that these guys haven't heard before, but we try to find something.
We did have Cullen Bunn on before Omar did, just saying. Farhan just talked about Cullen Bunn on Omar's channel. I'm sure it was great, but we got him first.
Yeah, we got Cullen Bunn first.
Love you, Omar, but we got you.
Yeah. And I did collected editions for the month before Omar. So there you go.
Everyone's throwing out names like it's the easiest thing in the world.
Brubaker.
I would say 75% of people just ignore me or maybe don't even see my message.
And Tomasi flat out said no to me.
But he wasn't mean to you or anything. He just said it's not really my bag, right?
There was an edge in his thing. Like, are you kidding? There was something behind what he was saying, like with a deep sigh, leave me alone. But then
maybe he's like you and he hates. Maybe he's like you. He's a people hater. So maybe there's that. Maybe it was a kindred spirit and you saw yourself in him.
Maybe that's true. Yeah, Farhan, when it comes to interviews, we're number one because of Taylor and me. I have a show, so
I need to head out.
Riding the coattails. You're right, Hayden. But I don't want that comment to get taken out of context. Omar is a great guy and a great friend of mine, and all I ever do is tease him. So nothing but peace and love to Omar. He's awesome.
Well, I need to head out.
Okay.
I could stick here for a long time, but
thank you guys for making the tangent episode so successful. We really enjoyed it. And we have ideas for creators that we want to interview, and we have ideas for shows we want to do. So please keep coming back every other Saturday for Baturdays in the BatCave, and every other Saturday than those is the Omnicat show, where we talk about Kristen and her interesting books.
Are we still doing Crime Corner this week?
Is that Friday?
It was supposed to be Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday? No, we're not doing it this week.
Okay. I was glad I asked them.
Not Tuesday. If we can do it later than that this week, yeah. Like Friday, I could do it. I could get those books written by Friday.
Well, that's my wife. I got the Tuesday approved, so I'll have to try to get the Friday approved.
Oh, if you want to pick a different book than Sleeper and get 3 or 4 thin books to do, I can do Tuesday. But Sleeper is going to take me a full day to read. So think about that.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah. Because I can do Tuesday. Okay, so thank you so much to everybody out there. We really appreciate you guys sticking with us and contributing all your good questions and attitudes and funny things that you say. Chat was really great. We really appreciate it. And let's see. Tomorrow I'm on Omnibros. Sunday and Monday I'm on Omnibros. Please check out my Scurry video that I just had put up this morning. That is a book that's close to my heart. I really want people to give that a chance and read it. So please, it's only like a 9-minute video, so please watch it. And as always, peace and love. Peace and love.